Imagine this, a worker is up on ladder retrieving supplies from storage rack, just like they have done many times before. But today the ladder is damaged and unstable. In an instant, it slips and the worker falls nearly 9 feet. That fall was fatal. A 65-year-old worker lost their life, all because a defective ladder was allowed to be used. And this tragic accident could have been avoided by taking one essential step: a job safety analysis, or JSA. Identifying hazards like damaged ladders could have saved this worker's life. So one small oversight can lead to a fatal accident. With a JSA, we can prevent it. Hello health and safety professionals. My name is Roshan Rajesh and I have 15 years of experience in health and safety. I am certified safety professional, CSP, then CRSP, Canadian Registered Safety Professional as well, and chartered member of IOSH, and qualified trainer and assessor. So on this channel, we simplify complex workplace safety topics into practical and easy to follow steps, empowering you to create a safer and healthier work environment. Whether you are an experienced professional or just starting out, our mission is to equip you with the knowledge and tools to enhance safety in your workplace. And if you are preparing for IOSH, NEBOSH, CSP or CRSP exams, you are in the right place. These videos are designed to support your success. So in this video, we'll break down the 6 essential steps to performing a JSA that will not only improve your workplace safety but also boost your confidence as a safety professional. We'll cover everything from selecting the right task to reviewing your safety measures, using a real life case study with some actionable tips, and we'll also fill out this JSA template together. So there are 6 steps in JSA, right? Let's go through it. Right? What are those? Starting with selecting a task. So number 1 is selecting a task. After selecting task, next one would be breaking it into steps. After that, what you do is you identify the hazards for that each step. So identify hazards, right? After that, in step 4, you determine control measure. And in 5th, you have to implement those control measures. We'll go through each one of them in detail, right? So right now we are just looking at what are those. And the last step is, after you implement those control measures, you have to monitor and review, right? So monitoring and reviewing, right? So basically you monitor and reviewing the process, right? So these are the 6 steps of JSA. Now let's go through it one by one. So the first step in JSA is picking up the right task to analyze. Sometimes it's referred to as job hazard analysis or task hazard analysis. The focus should be on high risk tasks or job where incidents have occurred in the past. This could involve anything from operating a complex machinery to something straightforward as using a ladder to reach at high areas. So let's take an example. So in this case, a worker at produce facility was assigned a routine task, retrieving items from high shelf using a ladder. So it seems simple enough and something they have had done many times before. But as we will soon find out, even familiar tasks can conceal serious risk when safety protocols are overlooked. Step 2. Break the task into series of manageable steps. This gives you clarity on each stage of the job and makes it easier to spot any potential hazard. For example, here is how the task of retrieving item from high shelf can be broken down. You can start with number 1, retrieving the ladder. Number 2, set up ladder. 3rd, climb the ladder. 4th, retrieve the items. 5th is climbing down. Now this list can be very long or could be very short, so we have to keep a right balance. Now let's move to step 3. Step 3 is identifying potential hazard at each step. So now for most of the critical part of identifying the hazard, for each step, ask yourself, what could go wrong? Is there a risk of slip, trip or falls? Could improper handling lead to an injury? So here where a lot of people get stuck. And one common misconception is that hazards are always obvious, but many times they are hidden in plain sight. So as we mentioned earlier, of a tragic incident of a 65-year-old worker fell about 9 feet while retrieving a merchandise from high shelf. The ladder they were using was damaged and safety procedures were not followed. So let's break down the potential hazard at each step. First one is retrieving the ladder. So what could be the hazard? It could be a damaged ladder, right? Then second step is set up the ladder. What could be the hazard? Again, ladder not placed on stable ground could be one. Then you're climbing on the ladder. So in that case, there is a risk of losing balance or improper climbing technique. You are retrieving the item on the ladder, right? So what could be the hazard? So you might have to overreach. So overreaching or not having clear line of sight could be a hazard. After finishing that, you're climbing down. Now while climbing down, again you are risk of falling while descending. So just like in this unfortunate case, many of us can overlook simple hazards. Identifying these hazards in advance is critical to preventing similar incidents. Now let's go to the next step, determining control measures to overcome these hazards. So once these hazards are identified, it's time to control them. This could mean anything from wearing a protective gear, PPE, or to setting up guardrail or implementing a better training. So here we can use hierarchy of controls. And to study it in detail, I have created a separate video which you can find in link in the description box. Now let's figure out control measures for each hazard that we identified earlier. Here is how the worker could stay safe during the task of retrieving item from the shelf. In the first step that we retrieve the ladder, the control could be inspect the ladder for any damages before using it, right? And if it is damaged, do not use it and make sure you report it for repair. Now some companies, they don't repair it, they just get rid of it. So in second step, we set up the ladder, right? While doing that, we can ensure the ladder is placed on stable level ground and use ladder stabilizers if necessary. And the next one would be climbing that ladder. So when you climb that ladder, the control measure should be used 3 point of contact while climbing and ensure that the ladder is at correct angle. When you retrieve the items, again control measure could be you ensuring have a clear line of sight and do not overreach. Make sure that you can use tool belt or any retrieval tools for each item which are out of reach. After that, while climbing down, you have to make sure that you descend slowly while maintaining 3 point of contacts and ensure that your path is clear before stepping down. So next step is step 5, implementing the control measure. So implementing control measure is where your plan turns into action. So ensure that worker is understanding the importance of the safety protocols and have the right equipment. If you are overseeing the process, make sure you conduct a pre-task briefing to reinforce the control measures. It's not enough to just say be safe. You need to be specific. For example, in this case, the worker should take few extra minutes to implement the control measures before proceeding. And here is what the worker should do to ensure safety. He or she should be inspecting the ladder for damage. If it is damaged, report it and get a replacement. Stabilize the ladder on level ground, ensuring it's secure before climbing. Use 3 points of contact when climbing. If unsure, then practice proper climbing technique with a colleague. Use a retrieval tool for items that are out of reach, preventing the need to overreach or stretch while on the ladder. Ensure the area is clear before descending to avoid tripping or falling. Finally, even the best plan need monitoring, right? So review the control regularly to make sure they are effective. If something changes in the task or environment, you may need to adjust the controls. For example, after completing the task, the workers can reflect on what worked and what didn't. Did the control measures effectively reduce the risk, or could something be improved on? Imagine if this team uses the JSA for every ladder related task moving forward. By monitoring how the task is executed each time, they can fine-tune the process and prevent future incidents. Regular feedback sessions can help identifying any new hazards and refine safety measures, ensuring safer workplace for everyone. Now, pause the video and think about a task you do regularly. What hazards might you be overlooking? Let me know by commenting below with the task and the hazard that you have identified. Let's move to our next section of quick fire, where we answer some frequently asked questions. The question is, how often should JSA be updated? So they should be reviewed regularly, right? Especially when there isn't any change in the task or a new equipment is introduced, or you notice a near miss incident or any legislative changes. It's time to update the JSA. Typically, supervisors, safety officers, but workers also, if they are competent enough, they can also perform JSA, or they at least should be involved into while doing JSA. It depends, right? So it depends on your local laws, but it's considered that to do it, it's a best practice globally. So do I need to do a JSA for every task? Not every task, but definitely for tasks that have potential hazards, especially one that involve heights, machinery, or chemicals. So in summary, job safety analysis is one of the most effective tools for preventing accidents and ensuring a safer workplace. If you are preparing for a certification exam or working in safety, mastering this skill is essential. Remember, well done JSA doesn't just protect workers, it can save lives. So the tragic incident we discussed highlights the importance of thorough safety protocols. If the worker had completed a job safety analysis before using damaged ladder, it could have prevented that fatal accident. So safety is everyone's responsibility, and by taking the time to do a JSA, you are not only protecting yourself but also your entire team. So don't wait for an accident to happen. Start doing JSAs today. If you found this video helpful, check out my video on how to conduct risk assessment for more detailed guidance on safety procedures. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more safety tips every week. I will see you in the next video. Until then, stay safe.